Okay, so this isn't going to be my usual thing. This is kind of a hype video, although I hate to use the term. Basically just about Monster Hunter 4, because I can't really capture any footage of this one. I mean, there are capture units, but they're like hundreds of dollars, and fuck that shit. And basically, I just wanted to talk about Monster Hunter because I've been playing the demo a lot. I'm super excited. I am a massive shill for this series. I try and get anyone I know to play it because it's never been huge in the West. It doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and this one's coming out, so I thought I'd just talk about it. You know, it's out in 2 weeks to giving out codes for the demo, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on it and why I think you, my viewer, should give this game a try, just because we have a lot of the same shit going around in the West, like the same shooters, the same RPGs, to all borrow ideas from each other. And whilst Monster Hunter doesn't do stuff new, if you like things like Dark Souls, going up against big bosses, collecting gear and stuff like that, there's elements to that which you'll find in Monster Hunter, and it's very much worth your time to investigate into it. So, what's special about Monster Hunter 4? First off, it's on the 3DS, it has online play for the first time. You open your 3DS, you can play with any of your friends from around the world. Just jump into a hunt, and it can be something like, okay, I've got 15 minutes on my break, I want to hunt a great Jaggy because I need some of its fangs or skin or something like that, and you can contact your friends like, do you want to do just a hunt for 15 minutes? And they'll be like, yeah, sure. And it's not like a raid in an MMO where you need to organise, and then you've got to spend 4 hours a night, like 3 times a week, to get down a monster for some loot. You just go in, you hunt it, you kill it, or you don't. It's collaborative gameplay and multiplayer refined and distilled to its most base form, and I love that, and there's not enough Western games that do that. There's 2 new weapons in this one, the Charge Blade and the Insect Glaive. They offer very, very new ways to play. The Insect Glaive, very obvious. You fire an insect, it takes attributes from the enemy, gives them to you, and you fight with a spear. You can launch yourself onto the enemy and mount them and attack them. You know, simple enough. The Charge Blade, however, there's a little bit more subtle stuff going on there. People think it's just a combination of the sword and shield and the great sword / great axe kind of thing, but there's a lot more subtleties in how you use it, how you combo into stuff, that I think that's going to be a sleeper hit with some people. People think it's just a new weapon, maybe it's a little overpowered, but there's subtleties to that I think people will really get into. Next we have the Infected Monsters, Monster Hunter Tri 3. It added subspecies, basically recolors of the monsters. It's a fun idea to add replay value, and let's be honest, recycling models is a very easy way to pad your content out. I'm looking at you, Square Enix, but the Infected Monsters have a difference. They aren't just a reskin, they have different abilities, and they also can infect you. They can make you sick. It's a new layer on top of the existing, okay, here's this monster, it's got wings, it's got like a blinder, I know what it's going to do, but now it can do other things. The fight is not the same. You do not experience it in the same way. It's because I know there's a lot of people who view my videos that like the Soul series. Imagine Ornstein and Smo, depending on which one you kill. You then fight the boss, but it has different abilities, even though it looks kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing as that in a weird way. They'll still do some of the similar stuff, but now there's a new layer on top of that, which alters the flow of the fight and how you actually engage with them. I really like that. Complexity is always good. It adds longevity to it. It makes it so, okay, let's just dive into it and do it more. More stuff to do, more bang for your buck, so you get more hours into this game, which each one gives me like 100+ hours at least. We're talking like Final Fantasy and like Pokemon-esque numbers. And I guess when you mention other franchises, you've got to mention the tie-in content, because hell yes, I have a lot of criticisms about Capcom, particularly about stuff like Resident Evil, but when it comes to tie-in content, they're pretty much one of the best companies around. Think about things like Lost Planet, where you could play as Wesker from Resident Evil, the characters from Gears of War. I'm pretty sure you could even play Frank from Dead Rising. And again, in Dead Rising, they had a lot of Mega Man stuff. They like to do the fan service tie-ins. This one, you can be Samus, a bounty hunter hunting monsters. Say what you want about your headcanon there. A lot of cool costumes for the cat people, whose species name I forget. The Blanca one I think is very cool. The Dante Devil May Cry, and it's real Dante, not Dante. Um, it's a lot of fun, and that's what this game should be, fun, because at the end of the day you're just hunting monsters, you're just dicking around with your mates, having a good time, and that kind of brings me to why I'm mentioning this series at all when I can't do let's plays of it. Basically, Capcom is finally pushing Monster Hunter into the West. There's a lot of YouTube personalities who are actually saying, okay, Capcom's paid us to advertise it, which normally I'm kind of about that stuff, because it's often it's just companies pushing stuff for the sake of, wider market appeal, but this is an example of a game that it needs it. It needs some breakthrough to the Western audience, and this is the first time that Capcom is really pushing this. They tried a small marketing campaign with some Viking and some adverts for Monster Hunter 3, but for 4 Ultimate, they're really going above and beyond, which, to be honest, with their monetary state not being so hot, they kind of have to, but from a player's perspective, the more people in the West playing Monster Hunter, the more chance we have of getting future Monster Hunter titles, because we've gotten quite a few in the past, but there's still some Japanese exclusives we never got purely because there isn't the numbers for it here yet. Hopefully, with the big push they're making, more people will pick up Monster Hunter. They'll discover how fun it is to open up your handheld and just hunt some monsters with friends, and high five if you're in the same room doing local multiplayer over, oh, we just spent half an hour fighting this beast. Do you remember the time when we did this? And it's about forging memories, which is such a great thing about multiplayer video games that we don't have nowadays, because so many multiplayer video games, the experience is jump into a lobby, do something like a Team Slayer or something, get called a faggot by a bunch of 12-year-olds, and then leave unsatisfied and unfulfilled. This is based on teamwork, camaraderie, working together, and it's pretty much, if you wanted an entire game about being a sunbro in a weird way, and that's the only comparison I can make. If you like taking down big bosses in things like Dark Souls with friends, this is the game from start to finish. There's single player, there's a storyline, there's hundreds of hours of content to do by yourself, but the reason I want to sell this to you basically is the more people playing it, the better the experience as a whole, because the Monster Hunter community in the West is very niche, but we're very, very dedicated, and I cannot recommend this enough. And I have played, I'd say maybe 10, 20 hours of the Monster Hunter 4 demo already, and I'll actually be putting some codes at the bottom below this video, just so, hey, take a code. If it's still, there at this point, God knows they'll redeem fast. Try the game, tell me what you think, tell your friends what you think. If you like it, tell them, great. 2 weeks till this comes out. I am super excited, and I hope you'll be excited as well. So give it a try and let's all go monster hunting together. Hell yeah!